Welcome to HDpiano. My name is Dan. Today we're going to learn how to play Feelin' Alright by Joe Cocker. I'm going to break the song into 5 different lessons. The first 3 we'll learn the intro and verse riffs and the chorus material, and then I'll play the whole song through without the solo, because we're going to reserve the solo for lessons 4 and 5, where I'll play it through and then include it in a full run through. So for our beginner students, maybe you'll just want to hang around through 3, and maybe for our advanced students, all 5 of them. Regardless, here we are. I'm going to play the introduction and the verse, and then I'll teach it to you. And there we have it. So that's the introduction and the verse. You'll notice a lot of the material sounds almost exactly the same throughout. The biggest differences are actually small things. So that's good news. We can learn this riff. And here's the catch. We're only going to learn the variations just separately, because I just want you to have them in your bag of tricks. A song like this that was recorded in 1968 was performed all the way through, no loops. And so it's different, a little bit different each time. The piano player might not play the same thing every time. So we're just going to teach you the variations today, so that you have access to them. And again, you can play them however you want. This is kind of a jam song. So I'll teach you the introduction first, because this is the classic section of the song. And it starts with a C, G in the left hand, B flat in the right hand, and this chord, B flat, D, E, G. The rhythm's like this. 3, 4. Okay, let's slow it down. 3 and 4 and. Okay, so let's play through that a little bit. Get comfortable with this transition. This kind of motion between the left hand, two in the left hand, and then the chord in the right hand. That kind of motion is going to happen all throughout. So get comfortable with that. Okay, so you notice on our next chord, here's our first chord, we're actually anticipating the beat. So we count like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're actually hitting the note just before 4. Okay, that we call that an anticipation. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be one of the more complicated aspects of this introduction. We call that syncopation. We're hitting on an off beat. We're not hitting on beat 4 itself, but we're hitting a 16th note before beat 4. So, and it's the same notes, which might make it more complicated, might not. But let's count this out really slowly together and see if we can play it. 1, 2, just the first measure. 1, 2, 2, 2. Now, I didn't get to these notes, but here they are. F, C, A, F. And again, these notes stay the same for the whole measure. We're just going to change the rhythm. So really what we have is this chunk for our first measure, and this chunk for our second measure. Okay, so let's go again slowly from measure 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. Now here's our. This is the end of that phrase. So we have this interval here called a six notes apart, and it's going to just descend. So there's our first 2 notes, and there's second 2 note, G and E flat, then down to F and D. We've got this dissonant chord on D sharp and B, which resolves up to E and C. So this is this is going to be our most dissonant chord. It's going to let us get right back to C. So, okay, and those are all offbeats. 1, 2, so again, we're other than that first note, those are all offbeats. 2, 3, and. Okay, we're not actually playing it on downbeats, if that makes any sense. So let's play just that measure, because I have a feeling that's going to be the most complicated thing about the intro, and maybe the whole intro and verse as well. 1, 2, just that measure. Again, let's loop that. And eventually we'd go back to our initial spot in this chord block here. So let's look at the introduction really quickly one more time, a little closer to tempo, and we'll see if we can start piecing it together. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so now we're into the verse. The main difference between the verse and the intro is really that we're playing the kind of ending, that thing. We're playing that in every measure. So here's the verse. Or we're playing it at every 2 measures, I should say. So now it happens there. It happens here again. So we're cycling in sets of 2 now, where we do that ending at every 2 measures. Now I just wanted to talk quickly about the variations on the verse, because I don't want to get too precise. I want to let you have a little bit of liberty as the jammer in this song to play what you'd like. But let's just show a couple of the rhythmic variations on these same notes. Again, same notes that we're using. So I could play something like, here's just one variation, for example. So again, I'm just adding notes. I'm filling in the rhythmic cracks, so to speak. And that's what gives us the variety in these verses. They're not very different. You could really use that introduction set of rhythms throughout the entire verse, and nobody would say anything. It would sound pretty much just like the actual song. But I like to note that there is variety in the recording. And so if you try to play along, it's not going to sound exactly the same. You'll have to find those little rhythmic differences throughout, because almost every other measure he's doing a tiny thing different. So I'm going to play through the whole intro and verse one more time for you. Then we'll get on to the chorus, and we'll be on our way. Beginning. 2, 3, 4. So we've got our C7 to our F. We'll do that for the whole song. Use this rhythm. Here's our descent. Now we're doing the same thing pretty much, except every 2 we do that. Some variety in the rhythm. That's another variety. And at that point, we would be in the chorus. So we're actually doing 6 sets of 2. It's a little bit different. Usually we do like 4 sets of 2, but so we have 6 sets of 2, which gives us 12 measures before the chorus. So from the verse to the chorus, 6 sets of those 2 chords. Again, I'm trying to make this simple. I think we've learned that riff that everybody loves from the intro, and we've kind of applied it to the verse with a little bit of variety in there. And now we're ready for the chorus. So I hope you'll stick around for lesson number 2, where we'll learn the chorus. My name's Dan. You're hanging out at HDpiano.com. We'll see you for the next lesson.